We learned this week of a partial success in the field of artificial speciation.
Huh? Really?
What? I don't understand.
What's the deal with that?
Artificial speciation, the science of creating new species via human intervention. It is a common expression round our way.
I see.
I get it now.
Righto, carry on.
We learned that boffins, who had set themselves the task of reconstituting the woolly mammoth, sure, why not, had fallen arguably somewhat short and come up instead with a woolly mouse. We learned that the white-coated Poindexters of frankly misleadingly named outfit Colossal Biosciences were trying to style this out as a work in progress, claiming that the admittedly luxuriantly fluffy rodents had mammoth-like traits, which is somewhat like arguing that one's garden shed has Sydney Opera House-like traits. Sure, they're both buildings with doors and a roof, etc., but come on. We learned, nevertheless, that the bespectacled weirdos responsible, in their short-sleeved shirts all buttoned all the way up to the top and biros in the breast pockets, are insisting as of this broadcast that they will turn loose the first full-grown artificial woolly mammoth not later than 2028. Doesn't matter, lads. Girls still won't talk to you. Anyway, sticking with the subject of friendless oddballs labouring to make a case for a lumbering pachyderm with unruly ginger blonde hair, we learned what a profile in courage really is. We learned this from US Vice President JD Vance shortly after his Oval Office berating of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who is, of course, a simpering effete milquetoast who has never passed any test sterner than staying at his post and leading his nation's resistance at the moment of invasion by one of Earth's biggest militaries, advanced elements of which were under specific instruction to kill him personally. Honestly, who does he think he is?
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to...
Count one.
I've actually watched and seen the stories.
For we learned that Vice President Vance's heroics did not stop at having watched the news from time to time. We learned that on a subsequent ski outing to Vermont, where his motorcade was greeted by no less terrifying a menace than a few hundred shivering citizens swaddled in parkas and brandishing somewhat uncomplimentary placards, he bravely, and with no thought at all for his own safety,
The New York Post is reporting that Vice President JD Vance was forced to move his family to an undisclosed location after pro-Ukrainian protesters swarmed the ski resort where he was vacationing.
Humbling, it truly is. But all leaden sarcasm aside, we did learn that there is one group of people to whom Vance genuinely is willing to stand up and tell it like it is, i.e. the safely dead soldiers of the Allies who have fought in America's wars these last few decades.
The very best security guarantee is to give Americans economic upside in the future of Ukraine. That is a way better security guarantee than 20,000 troops from some random country that hasn't fought a war in 30 or 40 years.
Been about that long since America won one, mind you. Maestro, the national anthem of Lesotho. For we learned that there is at least one country which does not, as of this broadcast, figure in the fevered dreams of conquest indulged by Vice President Vance's immediate superior, and we learned this from the interminable oration before Congress of US President Donald Trump, during which he listed some of the outgoings he claims to have clipped from the foreign aid budget.
$8 million to promote LGBTQI+. In the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of.
Listeners may not be entirely shocked to learn that efforts since by inquiring media are yet to locate one LGBTQI+ citizen of Lesotho who possesses the least idea what Trump was talking about. However, avid listeners to Monocle Radio's The Foreign Desk, like there are any other kind, etc., will have heard of Lesotho because we had the king on once.
I can't speak for other monarchies, but speaking for myself, I do tend to use the opportunity, and whenever I meet other heads of state or even heads of government, to, if I can put it that way, put Lesotho on the map.
Yes, we're showing off. Live with it. The Foreign Desk, every Saturday at midday. Do tune in.
Come on.
Just get on with it.
And we learned, possibly hearteningly given the trajectory upon which the world in general appears determined, that bad ideas can be unhad. We learned that UK-based financial services concern Aberdeen had decided to reinsert the E's into their name, which had been Aberdeen, as in the handsome Scottish city, until 2021, when some marketing genius who may not have been one of Aberdeen's wiser investments suggested that they, if you will, disembowel themselves, resulting in a name which absolutely nobody could pronounce.
Aberdeen.
See? We learned that Aberdeen have now thought better of this and will once again be Aberdeen.